Hey traders, this is Jeff from ZenTrader.ca, and this video is dedicated to answering some questions that a regular commenter had. I just felt that it would be easier to do this in a video than to type out a big lengthy response, and this way I can show some charts. So the first question is, when I look at the NASDAQ, do I actually see any noticeable differences versus the other charts like the S&P and the Dow? Well, here I have a watch list, and I popped the three charts in here, and then this is something I'll show you. This is actually all three of the charts. And to be honest with you, I rarely look at the S&P, and I get a lot of questions as, why do I use a NASDAQ? And I firmly believe that technology leads everything, and yes, there will be periods of time where the Dow stocks outperform technology, but by and large, I guess the real reason is the most successful trader that I personally know, she uses this chart. Years ago, she kind of showed me a few things, and I just kind of adopted it as, it's easier to look at one chart, become familiar with it, and if the NASDAQ is going up, most likely the general markets are going up. If it's going down, most likely the general markets are going down. And so this is just my preference. This isn't the be-all end-all. There are plenty of indexes, plenty of ways that people can develop their own market timing signal, and I encourage everybody to do so, because if everybody is looking at the same charts, then they're going to not be as effective. The reason why I put my timing signal out there is just so people can, they don't have to just follow it, but they can, use it in coordination with what they're doing on their own. So, and I hope that people do find it useful. And the one chart that I just did want to show you is, this is all three of the charts, and obviously the Dow is the weakest, but you can see here just at a cursory glance that they all generally trade in tandem. So just sometimes one or two outperform the others, and one way that I get around that is when I enter my timing, or I'm sorry, when I enter my trades, when my timing signal does flip, sometimes I'll take a position in the Dow like diamonds, and sometimes I'll take a position in the Qs, and that way if one of them is outperforming the other, you're getting exposure to it that way. The other question is, what do you think about Apple heavyweight on the technology index? Again, you're always going to have, unfortunately we're stuck with the system that we have of weightings, and yes, it's not perfect, but it is what it is, and there will always be companies that have a bigger weighting, so I don't really pay that much attention to it. And then finally, this particular reader had made a comment that he doesn't have a particular style that he's comfortable with, and I definitely recommend that you get one. And a couple of things that you can do to start to kind of develop and figure out what kind of style you have is, number one, decide what your time frame is. Decide what you're most comfortable with. Some people like weekly charts. Some people like daily charts. Some people who like to be more active traders like 5, 10, 15-minute charts. For me, I like the 15 and 60-minute charts for timing my trade, and I like the daily and weekly for the overall trend. And those are pretty much the only four time frames that I pay any attention to. But again, it's wide open. You can develop and create your own style. Number two, decide on your chart styles. Craft your charts. Find out what indicators that you're useful with. And that in itself is a pretty long journey. When I look at when I look at a ticker on somebody else's chart, it looks completely different from when I look at it on my charts. And then number three, because I'm running out of time, once you have your chart style, develop your entries and exits, what your criteria are for your entries and exits. So